Mic check 1 2. It's the Y2K Collector coming at you on a super sunny Sega Saturn Saturday morning. And yes, I said all those on purpose. But and all jokes aside, I'm playing some Sega Saturn today, and I just kind of wanted to dispel a big myth that I think has floated around about the Sega Saturn with regards to the capabilities of the action replay. Now, a lot of people think that if you own a US Sega Saturn, you can play import Saturn games on your US Saturn using an action replay. And while that may be true for some games, it's not true for all games. Specifically when it comes to the X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, Dungeons and Dragons, and a number of other games, there are certain games that when you're playing them on the Sega Saturn require that 4 megabit RAM card. And I don't think the information that's on that card is the same as the action replay. I could be dead wrong. You all can let me know. But when it comes to playing X-Men versus Street Fighter, no matter how hard you try, it's not going to work on a US Sega Saturn because the data just doesn't read properly. You have to have an import console to play those games. And that's a big part of the reason why I actually bought an import Sega Saturn. I actually got a complete in box import Sega Saturn a while back. It was like minty fresh, mint condition. And this was before, like, I don't know if there's ever really been a ton of hype around the Sega Saturn. I know like a lot of people at one point were collecting for the US Saturn, but I don't think people were ever really like on the import Saturn like that, because I was able to pick up like a complete in box, like super fresh for around $150 like years ago. And I used that. I bought it because a lot of my gaming childhood was spent in the arcades. So like the X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, those games mean a lot to me as just a gamer, because I sunk a lot of hours into those games, both at home and in the arcade, because there was an X-Men versus Street Fighter that came out on the PlayStation 1. And then obviously Marvel versus Capcom on the Dreamcast and things like that. So when it comes to that series, I spent a ton of time there. But don't be fooled. Don't think that you can buy those import games and play them on your US Saturn, because it's going to take you up to a certain point. Like when you turn the console on, it will allow you to, you'll get the Sega screen, it'll take you to the Capcom screen. But after a certain point, like after you get through like the opening, like disclaimer and the whole all rights reserved screen and stuff, it's going to take you to that screen where it just tells you that the cartridge isn't compatible. So I'm going to show you what it should look like. Now, I have it plugged up right now on my import Saturn, and we're going to power this on, and I'm going to let you see what it actually looks like once you have it going on a console that it's supposed to be working for. I have the sound turned up so you can hear that amazing Sega Saturn sound quality. Man, these games just sound and play the best on the Saturn. I don't know if there's an emulation experience that could give you the same thing. If there is one, let me know. But check this out.
Are you ready, true believers? Capcom and Marvel have joined forces once again to bring you Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter. Spectacular action! Don't miss out on the enjoyment of a lifetime. Don't miss the most amazing tag team fighting game ever. Are you ready for a new challenger? Now, Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter.
So, I mean, just looking at the sound, the color, it's crazy, man. This is my childhood right here. So here, I'll turn this down so you guys can hear here in a second here. And I hope you all can appreciate this kind of video style this morning. This is more of a video format where it feels like, when your friend invites you over on a Saturday morning. But as you guys could see and hear, I mean, the music, the colors, the brightness, the pixel artwork, it's just unmatched. These are fighting games that are timeless, you know what I mean? And I remember just as a kid, what you just heard is pretty much, it would be on loop, it would be on repeat. And as soon as you walked into the arcade store, you smelled two things. You got that smell of like comic book paper, because they also sold comic books there. So you walk in and it's that immediate smell of like comic book paper, and like you walk in and you see like the used games that they have behind the glass case, baseball cards, basketball cards, comic books, and then like you walk into the back, and when you would walk in the back is where they would have like all of these types of games, like the X-Men versus Street Fighter, the Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter. So it's just a super nostalgic experience. Like the Sega Saturn for me is seriously like nostalgia in a box, and it's really unmatched. Another game that I'll let you check out is X-Men versus Street Fighter. This is another one that will pop in and I'll let you hear it, because this too is another game that you cannot play on a US Saturn. You really got to have that import feel here. You just got to have it there. So let me go ahead and pop that up for you. Pop that out, and let's see here. We'll go ahead and plug this in. So X-Men versus Street Fighter is another one that's just a super classic, man. Like a super, super classic. And I hope you guys enjoy some of these Saturday morning videos. If you like the format, let me know down in the comments. Let me know if any of these games mean anything to you, if they take you back to a time that you remember. But for sure, these are some of the classics that I just remember just being super awesome just as a kid. Now, Marvel Superheroes was definitely more loud and boisterous. X-Men versus Street Fighter, I think, came out before it. Let me crank up that volume so you can hear what we're dealing with here. Yeah, so X-Men versus Street Fighter definitely came out before Marvel Superheroes. I think it was X-Men versus Street Fighter first, and then it was Marvel Superheroes that came out after it. And then after Marvel Superheroes was, I think, Marvel versus Capcom. That's when they just made it a whole Marvel versus Capcom deal. But these are timeless games, man. These are timeless classics. I wanted to invite you up into the attic today. Like I said, I had moved my game room a while back and moved it up into my little attic space. This is like my little man cave up here where I kind of do a bunch of things, play my games, and just sort out a bunch of stuff. And this is going to be where I spend a good chunk of the day today. Just jamming out, vibing out, getting my X-Men versus Street Fighter on, getting my Marvel versus Capcom on. I've got both Sega Saturns out. I'm going to be doing a little bit of Saturn gaming and just going arcade mode today. Let me know what you're going to be getting into today. It's Saturday. It's a beautiful day. I don't plan on spending the whole day inside. Definitely going to get out there and see what's going on out. Don't plan on doing any real game hunting. There just doesn't feel like there's any deals out there. I'm not sure if GameStop brought a buy two, get one back or anything like that. I'm not sure. But you can let me know down in the comments if you're doing any hunting. If you know of any deals, let me know. Are there any deals out there? Are there any sales? Or is there anything I should have my eyes open for? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for coming over on a Saturday morning. Hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and I'll be back with you this afternoon with another video. Take it easy.